had already mentioned towards the end of the last episode that in this episode we will be reviewing the arrival of the British and the consequences Hindustan had to face due to their arrival. Since the last 8 episodes, that is regarding the invasion of Hindustan since AD 712, and those last 8 episodes involved some of the most important changes in Hindustan. I would like to make a summary of those 8 episodes and share a series of questions for our own reflection, because I think it is very important as far as a citizen of Hindustan is concerned. Even though Hindustan had to face some invasions before AD 712, for example, the arrival of Alexander of Macedonia, Alexander of Greece, the so-called Alexander the Great, and also there were invasions by the Persians. Those invasions were intended only for looting the wealth of Hindustan. They never tried to destroy the culture of Hindustan and to make or enforce religious conversions. But since AD 712, those who came to Hindustan for invasion or for looting, they had also another objective, that is to convert the people of Hindustan to their religion. So this is the reason why I would like to summarize the most important events happened since AD 712, including the arrival of the Portuguese and their brutality which they have exhibited or committed in Hindustan. And then to make, as I have already mentioned, some questions for our own reflection. This is because you, young generation of Hindustan, are educated people with a trained intelligence to think. So you have that capacity. My attempt will be in vain if I try to do this exercise with the older generation. But with you, I am confident that this will help you to make your own idea about the reality. And that's the reason why. So let us start to have a summary of those 8 episodes. We have already seen that it was in AD 712, the first Arab invasion happened in Hindustan under the command of this Mohammad Bin Qassim. And the attack was in Debal in Sindh, and 6,000 men were killed in 3 days. All the women and children were enslaved. And as we have seen, 60,000 enslaved men and women were forcefully converted to Islam. And it was on this occasion the first citizen of Hindustan became a Muslim under torture due to the fear of death. Please keep this in mind. And also, women were offered, not this word, offered to the Arab soldiers. The next invasion was by Muhammad Ghazni, and he made 17 invasions from AD 997 and to 1032. And as we have seen, in AD 1031, he killed all the 50,000 inhabitants of Somanath and looted their wealth. The next was Qutb-ul-Din Aibak, and he killed and enslaved about 100,000 Hindus, demolished the Hindu temples, and erected mosques on their sites, and he forcefully converted Hindus to Islam and beheaded those who refused to be converted. The next was Alauddin Khilji, and he invaded Hindustan in 1306. And his contribution to Hindustan were the destruction of the Hindu property. About 100,000 Hindus were killed. About 10,000 Hindus were enslaved. Temples were plundered of their wealth, forced conversion to rapes, and thrilled butchering of the children. Note this statement, thrilled butchering of children. And that was the best method to convert the Hindus to their religion. The best method to convert people. Because if a parent, a father or mother has to face the situation that their children are going to be butchered, automatically they will get converted to that religion. They will surrender everything. And this is a fact. And this was the best method used by the Arabs as well as the Portuguese missionary Francis Xavier. Please keep this particular point in your mind. The next most terrible and devilish invader of Hindustan was this Firoz Shah Tughlaq. As we have seen, he invaded Bengal in 1355. He offered a reward for every Hindu head. It means he paid to cut the heads of 180,000 Hindus, and he raided Hindu villages for slaves. He celebrated for 3 days whenever the number of Hindus killed in his territories where he occupied in one day reached about 20,000. Please keep this statement in your mind. And he imposed rules for grinding down the Hindus and for depriving them of their wealth and property. It is in this way majority of the people of Hindustan became poor. They deprived of every property they possessed. And this was done not only by the Arabs or Mughals, but also by the Portuguese and British. Keep this point also in your mind. The next was Taimur. And please note this affirmation. He cut off the heads of 10,000 Hindus in 1 hour in Delhi. And this is a representation of what was done with those heads. I don't go to the details. The next were Bahmani Sultans who came to Hindustan, and they killed about 100,000 Hindus every year between 1347 and 1527. The next was Babur, who lived between 1483 and 1530. And his speciality was that he raised 2 towers of Hindu skulls, as you have seen here in this picture. And one of them was in Kanua, that is about 60 miles west of Agra. And the other one was in Chanderi, that is in the present Ashok Nagar district of Madhya Pradesh. The next one was Shah Jahan, who lived between 1592 and 1666. And see his statements. When Shuja was appointed as governor of Kabul, he carried on a ruthless war in Hindu territory beyond Indus. And please note this particular sentence. The sword of Islam yielded a rich crop of converts. Most women, to save their honor, burned themselves to death. And those who were captured were distributed among Muslim noblemen. And the next one is Ahmad Shah Abdali. And see his statements. Hindus were beheaded for 5 rupees per head. The captive women were forced to carry their heads, and the captive men to carry the headless bodies. At night, as the captive women were being raped, their shrieks, their cry were deafening. The chopped heads were raised like pillars. Men were made to grind cones on the dead bodies, and later these men were beheaded too. The next is Nadir Shah, who lived between 1883 and 1933. And he also raised a mountain of Hindu skulls in Delhi. The next one is Francis Xavier, who came with the Portuguese in Goa and conducted the Goa Inquisition. And this Francis Xavier was awarded the rank of a saint by the Pope of Vatican for converting about 30,000 Hindus to Christianity. But in his attempt to convert them, to Christianity, he killed not less than 60,000 Hindus by the brutal and unimaginable cruel torture, persuading them to convert to Christianity. And please watch these paintings or pictures which represent the methods used in Goa by Francis Xavier during the Goa Inquisition to convert the citizens of Hindustan to Christianity between 1545 and 1812. See these pictures, they don't need any additional explanation. And here also, how terrible and cruel the methods used to convert the citizens of Hindustan to Christianity. And this was done by a person who is now known as a saint. And please see this method, please watch and keep them in your mind. Again, and watch this particular scene. A Portuguese soldier is trying to beat an innocent child against a wall in front of their parents. Naturally, they will convert. They will allow to be converted to Christianity if this was the method used. And see this also. See how the citizens of Hindustan became Muslims and Christians since AD 712. This is very important. And probably the only area all over the world where Christianity was introduced in a more diplomatic way was in the state of Kerala, where two missionaries from Syria came with the merchants and they tried to introduce Christianity in a more diplomatic and more crooked way. I would like to say that more crooked way or more diplomatic way. We can put it in that way, diplomatic way. Okay. Without any bloodshed or without exercising brutality as this Francis Xavier did in Goa. But the inquisitions were done in all areas of the world, especially in Europe, also in the American continent and the rest of the world. And it is through this inquisition, Christianity was spread all over the world initially. Now, they have sweet smiles and another approach. But originally, Christianity also was spread all over the world through Inquisition. This is a historical fact. So, in the next episode, let us share or let us see some of the questions formulated based on this experience Hindustan had to suffer in order to make our own reflection, our own idea, our own assumptions, our own conclusions about these religions. Thank you very much for your kind attention to my words. See you in the next episode. Jai Hind.